The queens enter the workroom, with everyone except Celestia cheering about being top 5.
It's a new day in the workroom, darling, and I'm recharged. I was stressed, I was a mess, but I've worked through it and I'm ready to pull ahead of the other queens. I realized that, as sad as it is, Arsene being eliminated last week was God's gift to Camilla. It opened up the game. He's been an oppressive force for almost the entire competition. I just need to make sure that I'm the one to fill that power vacuum.
Spinel asks the other queens how they feel about what happened last week, but before they can respond, Celestia tells Spinel to just shut the fuck up already. The queens look shocked, while Celestia looks visibly furious. Camilla asks her what that's about, and Celestia says that she isn't interested in the speech each queen will give about Zip being such a sweetheart, and pretending like they aren't the reason he went home. Venti rolls his eyes.
I love Zip, but it was his time to go. The first out wasn't going to win the competition, let's just be realistic. Celestia needs to get checked. The bitch is cracking and it's gonna cause a scene for all of us.
Elisa asks what she's even talking about, and Celestia immediately snaps at her to stay out of it, because she doesn't want to hear Elisa make it about herself like usual either. Elisa gasps, looking pissed. Celestia then turns to Spinel, and says that she hopes that they hadn't gotten used to Celestia being nice, because she's about to bring hell down on each of them, especially Spinel. Spinel asks when she was nice, and why she's so mad at her. Celestia responds that if Spinel had helped Zip, he wouldn't have gone home last week, and says that Spinel is responsible for his elimination.
First of all, I know this bitch did not talk to me like that. But I'll ignore it, because this delusion is more pressing. It takes some fierce level of delusion to blame Spinel for Zip going home. She wasn't obligated to help Zip, and if memory serves, she actually offered to help Zip anyway. But he refused, because she wouldn't help Celestia. So if you ask me, it's Celestia's fault that Zip was eliminated. And I don't think she's sitting well with that.
She'd already had hers.
Hello my loves, and congratulations on making it to top 5. Even if extraneous circumstances fast-tracked that process a bit. But let's not get into that, it's time for the mini challenge. You'll each dance Tinnickling for as long as you can, and whoever lasts the longest wins.
If only Arsene was still here. He said he always lasts the longest, if you catch my meaning. But I love Tinnickling, this bodes well.
Now, the time has come. For you to Tinnickling, for your life.
Celestia Ludenberg won the mini challenge.
Motherfucker, I'm doomed. It was nice being here folks, I had a good run, I got a few wins. But this is my week.
Celestia, as the winner of the mini challenge, you'll be in charge of assigning the roles for this week's acting challenge. Little Whores on the Prairie.
This is going exactly as I wanted it to. I had an outburst earlier, and that's not very smart to do, but I couldn't help it. I'm mad at Spinel, so I want her out, but that's not the only reason. I also need to break up her and Camilla. They're the only two left that are allied, and when every queen is for herself it's a lot easier to control the workroom. The ideal situation is the two of them lip-syncing, so that either way one of them is eliminated. Then I essentially have free entry into the top 3.
Tonight on the runway, category is Night of 1000 Winners. Walk the runway in a look inspired by your favorite winner of cartoon Drag Race. Good luck, and don't fuck it up.
The queens gather and read over the roles and script, before Celestia speaks up and says she's ready to assign the roles. Camilla says that she's fine with any other role, but requests that she isn't assigned as the saloon owner. Celestia laughs, and says that she really shouldn't have said that, adding that she'll be assigning that role to Camilla first. Camilla just huffs.
Idiot. Obviously I'm not completely brain dead, I wanted that role. I'm sure she thinks I'm stupid, so I used that. I don't see myself as one of those queens who will manipulate to get what she wants here, but at this point, you have to fight fire with fire. This was exactly the role I wanted.
Celestia glances down at the script, before looking to Spinel and saying that she'll play the town deputy. Spinel is visually frustrated, but doesn't respond.
Not only is that the character with the least lines, but I have to share the one scene I'm in with the sheriff character, who is essentially the main character of the challenge. But I'm not giving up yet. I'll make the character my own somehow.
Celestia then tells Venti that he'll play the villain, to which he excitedly agrees. Elisa requests to play the sheriff, since it's the main role. Celestia rolls her eyes and says that was her plan anyway, and that she'll be playing the rich girl. Elisa tilts her head, and asks why Celestia wants such a small role, but Celestia doesn't respond and simply walks away.
Everybody knows that the judges eat it up when you take a small role and make it steal the show. My character is only in a few scenes, but when I enter, I'm the only character being focused on, and that's something I can really play into. I'm a great actress, and I think I have a strong chance this week.
Elisa is at a station alone looking over her script, at first seeming excited, but very quickly getting visibly nervous. Spinell goes up to her, asking if she can rehearse with her, since Spinell's only scene is with Elisa's character. Elisa agrees, but after several runs through the script, she's still messing up her lines. Spinell reassures her that they have time, but after a certain point, Elisa gets angry and throws her script on the ground, putting her head in her hands.
I was so sure I could handle the main role. I ate the rusical down. I didn't win, but I was very strong. And I'm usually able to rise to a challenge like this, but with so few characters, I have so many lines. I just can't get them through my fucking skull.
Elisa starts lightly crying, and Spinell sits next to her, trying to calm her nerves. Elisa whips her head up and tells her to stop being fake, and that if she wasn't her partner in the challenge, Spinell wouldn't be helping her. Spinell gets visibly upset, and after pausing for a second, says that no shit, she wouldn't be helping her. Elisa looks shocked, but Spinell continues, saying that Elisa has spent the entire latter half of the competition being a complete monster to her, speaking down to her, saying she isn't trying, and saying she isn't worthy. She then adds that she doesn't owe Elisa the kindness she's showing, but that she's showing it anyway, because Elisa doing better in this challenge means that Spinell will do better in this challenge, and she doesn't want to go home tonight. So Elisa needs to get off her ass, wipe her eyes, fix her makeup, and learn her damn lines. Elisa opens her mouth to say something, but she pauses, and after a few seconds she breaks into laughter. Spinell smiles, and says that they need to get back to work, and Elisa agrees.
Ugh, as much as I want to hate Spinell, she's undeniably a competitor at this point. And if I do well enough this week to stay out of the bottom, I'll owe that to her. I'm gonna get my shit together and do whatever I can to stay safe this week. I'm pushing like never before in this challenge. Come on Elisa, it's your time to shine.
Camilla is practicing her scene with Venti, really camping up her role as the saloon owner, with Venti cheering her on from the side. Once she finishes her line reads, Venti laughs, giving her a side eye. She asks what he's so giggly about, and he says that for someone who didn't want that role, she sure was prepared to slay it. Camilla laughs and shushes him, before confirming that yes, she knew Celestia was going to play dirty and wanted to get ahead of it. Venti replies that he didn't think she'd be so good at this, wondering out loud why he had underestimated her when she was so strong in the rusical. Camilla says that people tend to assume that the pretty queens can't be funny. She then eyes Venti up and down, saying that sometimes they're right if he's anything to go by. Venti's jaw drops, and he starts laughing.
Camilla, you bitch. I'm totally funny. I think I might snag the win this week, but if it isn't me, it's Camilla. I really overlooked her. She does camp better than just about anybody here. I'm gonna have to snap her heels or something, pull a Celestia, because after what happened last week I really had to take this win. There are only 2 challenges left including this one, and if I want to be a lock for the crown, I need another win, damn it. Maybe I should take this character in a whole new direction, and play it in an unexpected way. I think if I can excite the judges like that, I'll eke out the win. Especially considering my runway.
Celestia goes over to their station, and asks Camilla how she's feeling about her role this week, laughing to herself. Camilla responds that she's feeling just fine. After all, she got the role she was after. Celestia's smile drops, and she asks Camilla what she's talking about, looking angry. Camilla just smiles at her, before saying she was going to start on her makeup for the challenge, and leaving the station. Celestia scowls, and heads towards Camilla's clothing racks while Venti is focused on his script.
I hope that bitch doesn't think she's getting one over on me. Fool me once, shame on me. But nobody has ever fooled me twice, and it won't happen now, either.
When Celestia gets to where Camilla typically keeps her runways, she sees that they've all gone, and are nowhere to be found. As she searches the area, Camilla walks up behind her, and asks if she's looking for something. Celestia screams a bit, startled, before calming herself and saying that she isn't anymore. Camilla giggles and says that she should get to doing her makeup because she wouldn't want to go on stage looking a mess like this. Celestia scowls and goes to her station.
Watching Camilla toy with Celestia is the most I've been entertained all week. It's like she's playing with her food and Celestia is not happy about it. Still though, from what I could overhear of Celestia practicing her role, she is a very strong contender this week. I'll have to keep an eye on her.
Hello my loves, and welcome to Cartoon Drag Race Philippines. I'm one of your beloved hosts, Kagamane Len. Please welcome your beautiful judging panel this week. The other half of our sickening judging duo, it's Kagamane Rin. And our southern pageant doll from Cartoon Drag Race Season 4 and Cartoon Drag Race All-Stars 3, it's Penelope Pitstop. Thank you so much for joining us.
Penny Pitstop? Do we have no budget left, perhaps? Did our Sen's lawsuit go through? I kid, I actually love Penelope. I was really rooting for her on All Stars 3. But I mean, we saw how that went, haha.
In tonight's Maxi Challenge, the queens were tasked with acting out an old Western parody, Little Whores on the Prairie. And tonight on the runway, category is Night of 1000 Winners. Without further ado, let's begin.
Camilla slayed the challenge.
Did you expect anything less? I devoured, I fear, and the judges were laughing their asses off. Penelope is a proper queen, she keeps a clean image. But the way she was laughing at my performance is something you'd never expect to see from her. She might not like the gifts they make after this episode, darling.
Celestia Ludenberg did great in the challenge.
This was a very strong week for me. I could tell the judges liked what they saw, and I stole the show with my role just like I planned. Spinel, on the other hand, was the definition of forgettable. This is going to go exactly as I planned it. After the runway, I'll be the challenge winner, and Spinel will be locked into the bottom two.
Elisa and Spinel did good in the challenge.
Me and Elisa both struggled for different reasons, but I think that when we got down to it, we did pretty well. But almost everyone did great this week. I think it's gonna come down to the runway. Luckily, I'm actually really proud of my runway this week, so let's hope.
Venti did bad in the challenge.
I did exactly what I set out to do and I'm proud of it. I subverted the expectations of the character and the judges seemed intrigued. I think I've saved myself from a possible bottom placement, and I can breathe again.
Spinel and Elisa slayed the runway.
I had the best runway of the week, if you ask me, which is far from surprising. My look was inspired by Heather, who I consider to be the greatest winner of Cartoon Drag Race ever. Now, I hope my bald head reveal isn't too triggering to her. I even drew a smiley face in the back with rhinestones.
Camilla and Venti were great on the runway.
Primarina told me the other week that she wants to see something new from me, and the judges seemed to agree, so this week I chose an aesthetic I've never done before. My Night of 1000 Winners look is based on Mr. Smithers, the winner of Cartoon Drag Race Season 2. I did of course adapt his drag to be a bit more sexy. With a body like mine, darling, you have to sell sex, or it just looks unnatural. I'm serving you, slutty executive assistant, whose shirt is buttoned just a little too low, and it makes you wonder if I really got this position by climbing the corporate ladder. I hope I've done Smithers proud, regardless of what Lola has to say.
My Night of 1000 Winners runway is based on Pleakley, the iconic winner of Cartoon Drag Race Season 3. I chose Pleakley because their brand of alien fashion has always been fascinating to me, and I wanted to try and adapt it to my own drag, which I did very successfully. And of course I have the legendary sun hat and blonde wig. Bitch, this is drag.
Celestia Ludenberg was good on the runway.
My runway tonight is based on Blake Belladonna, the winner of Cartoon Drag Race Toon Madness Season 2. I'm completely obsessed with her drag aesthetic. I do hope I can convince her to come on my Burning Witch tour. Perhaps slaying the runway in her honor will do so. I think this ensemble will seal the win for me this week. The others can eat their hearts out.
My queens, I have made some decisions. Nobody is safe tonight. You are all the tops and the bottoms of the week. Now, let's get into the critiques. Venti, please step forward.
I was very confused by your character in the challenge.
You played the villain, but it was from such a strange angle, and you kept looking directly into the camera. The whole time it felt like you were staring me down, and just made the scene awkward. And during the dramatic campy climax of the challenge, you played it very straight. I wasn't a big fan of you in the challenge this week.
I sort of understood what you were going for, but you way overdid your version of the character, and I can't help but think it would have been better if you had stuck with the intended characterization. On the runway you're as strong as usual, but I do think it wasn't very high concept. When I think of a Pleakley inspired runway, this is exactly what I'd imagine, and it's fierce, but it's simple. That's not the typical Venti experience.
I've been keeping up with this season, and you've been consistent like very few others have, but you seem to hit a plateau in the middle of the season and I don't think you've risen past it yet. You do just about everything at a high level, but in this challenge for example, you were trying so hard to subvert the role that you seemed to ignore that you still had to be a funny villain. It just ended up confusing.
Celestia Ludenberg, please step forward.
I really tore into you last week, but I don't regret it, because that's clearly what you needed. This is the Celestia I wanted to see. This is top 5 material. You stole the show for the duration of your role, and although you weren't quite my favorite of the week, I thought you were very impressive regardless.
For tonight's runway, I actually have the same critique that I had for Venti. This is definitely Blake Belladonna, and it's a cute look. But it's just Blake Belladonna, there's nothing Celestia about it, and compared to the others on the runway I just wasn't gagged. That being said, you were great in the challenge this week, and I truly hope this continues into the next challenge as well.
The look tonight? It's very pedestrian. I don't agree with the twins that it was just Blake Belladonna, because I think it was weaker than I'd expect to see from Blake. It wasn't bad, but it does sort of seem like it's a pull-out from another category that you repurposed to fit a photo of Blake you vaguely remembered. You succeeded in the challenge, but your runway makes you less of a contender this week to me.
Spinel, please step forward.
Spinel, in the challenge you didn't really stand out to me. You had a small role, and I could tell you were trying to make the most of it, but it just didn't stick. A lot of the comedy in your role would have come from the way you interacted with Elisa, and you played off of each other pretty well for the most part, but I think Elisa's lack of confidence in her role got to you while you played yours.
But this runway? My god Spinel, you look fantastic. Every time you walk the runway in something like this, I really find myself at a loss, thinking the same bitch who walked the runway in that episode 2 look is now looking like this. You weren't especially good in the challenge this week, but you really did storm the runway.
Roseman would be thrilled with this runway look. I think it's my favorite of the runway tonight. I'm not exactly an expert in campy comedy, so while I agree with the others that you weren't much of a character, I'm not sure how I would improve it. Compared to someone like Elisa who had the main role and was similarly uninteresting, you only had a few lines to work with.
Camilla, please step forward.
Camilla, you were such a fucking star tonight. Every time you were on the screen I got my life. This is just like the Rusical. It takes so much skill to master polished, clean, professional drag the way you have, and still be able to turn up the camp and the stupidity the way that you can. Absolutely amazing job.
Tonight on the runway, you did what we've been waiting for from you. This look is so fresh for you, I'd imagine that if not prompted you never would have worn it, but you look fabulous. This week was like seeing Camilla fully realized, and I'm absolutely in love. I expect this from you from now on.
The hateful queens on Reddit better not get clips of the way I was laughing at your bit of the performance. I'll never live it down. Producers, cut that out immediately. That being said, what a masterclass in acting and camp. The expressions you were making, the way you threw that drink into Venti's face, I couldn't get enough. It was absolutely perfect.
Elisa, please step forward.
You played the lead in this challenge, and while you did alright, we could definitely tell that you weren't comfortable in your role. Which was surprising honestly, because you've always taken so well to the spotlight. That being said, you did pull through in the end, and you managed to get all of your lines. Solid job overall.
I will say, even though you got all of your lines, you didn't read them in a way that brought through your character. It looked like a news reporter reading from a teleprompter sometimes, like we could visually see the wheels turning in your head to remember each of the words. But the bit at the end where you lassoed Venti was hilarious. Do you do your own stunts?
That runway, I'm actually obsessed. I was convinced Heather herself was walking down the stage, and the comedy of ripping off your wig to show a bald head with stubble, I just know she's mad. The rhinestone smiley face on the back made me laugh almost as much as the actual challenge did. This wasn't your best week, but you're a star, Elisa, and it's clear you have a great mind and eye for drag. Let's just hope Heather agrees.
Alright my queens, now that we've let you know our thoughts, it's time to let you know your placements this week. Camilla, tonight you turned up the camp to a 10, and you showed us a whole new side of yourself. Congratulations my love, you're the winner of this week's challenge.
Oh my fucking god, I could cry. Darling, I've been waiting weeks to hear that again. This has given me a new life in the competition. But I can't let up yet. Next week is the last challenge and I have to make it count. I'll hear those words again, trust and believe. I think I need a moment for the buzz to fade.
Celestia Ludenberg, great job this week, you're safe. You may leave the stage. Venti, in tonight's challenge, you lost sight of your character. I'm sorry my dear, but you're up for elimination.
I can't believe I let this happen. I'm so humiliated and disappointed in myself. But I'm not backing down. Elisa and Spinell are both fierce lip syncers, but bitch, I'm fiercer. This twink will come out on top.
Elisa, tonight on the runway you were the head bitch in charge, but in the challenge you couldn't take the lead. Spinell, you faltered under the pressure, and you faded into the background. Spinell, you are safe. You may leave the stage.
Oh my god, I can finally breathe. I thought I was going to pass out. I thought I was going home. Thank you so much Kagamine Len, I won't let this happen again. Next week I have to prove myself, I just have to.
The time has come for you to lip sync for your life.
I'm not especially surprised. But I won't lay down and die. This crown is mine for the taking, and I'm going to turn out this lip sync like never before. I'm sorry Venti, but get packing.
Good luck, and don't fuck it up.
The lip sync song is The Diner by Billie Eilish. Venti slayed the lip sync. Elisa had a good lip sync.
My queens, I have made my decision. Venti, Shantae, you stay. You may leave the stage. Elisa, my love, you are a goddamn star. Never forget that. Now, sashay, away.
This is Untucked.
The queens enter Untucked, with Venti cheering ding dong, the witch is dead. Celestia speaks up, and says that she's still here, and the queens groan. Celestia laughs.
She wasn't my target, but getting rid of Elisa is still a step in the right direction. It's a shame that the bimbo and the circus clown are still here, though. I personally think Spinell should have bottomed this week, and let's be clear, Venti would have packed her up. It's fine, I'm more than capable of beating those bitches.
The queens sit down, and Spinell immediately congratulates Camilla on winning the challenge this week, saying she definitely deserved it. Celestia says she wouldn't go that far, adding that Camilla only won because of her runway, but Venti chimes in and tells Camilla to ignore her. Camilla laughs, and says that was the plan, before congratulating Venti for winning the lip sync. Venti just sighs, and thanks her, saying he's just disappointed he was lip syncing to begin with. Spinell says that it's fine, and that everyone has to lip sync for their life at some point, to which Camilla quickly responds that Spinell needs to speak for herself. The queens laugh.
I'm riding high, and I need to take this momentum all the way to the finale. I'm the only queen who hasn't had to lip sync for her life. And now that I've snagged my second win, the future's looking bright. But I can't let myself get cocky. At the start of the week Elisa was the frontrunner, and she went out the door just like that. It's time to kick this ass into high gear.
Celestia says that she thinks the fix was in, and that the judges plan to give Camilla the win from the start. Camilla rolls her eyes, and says that if Celestia spent more time applying herself to the challenge instead of trying to sabotage the others she might have eked out the win this week. Celestia responds that the point of the mini-challenges is to use the advantage, and Camilla laughs, asking how that worked out for her. Celestia just says that it won't matter next week, because she'll be taking the win, and then the crown. Camilla laughs, and seems as if she's about to say something, but simply shakes her head and says cheers to making top 4. The queens cheer.